Formerly Maggie the Mouth's Belly Bump Bistro, it's now Sanctuary of Reality, my comic review series. Time for Cerebus issue 161, the 11th chapter of Mothers and Daughters. Having moved the next chess piece, Cerebus finds himself facing the decaying yet living corpse of Pig leader Bran Mac Muffin, who has condemned himself to remain in such a state for all eternity. Soentius Poe reveals to Cerebus that Bran does this every life that he's lived, and yet always comes back and it makes the exact same mistakes each time, and as such, it was a mistake to have ever aligned with him to begin with. But this current encounter with Cerebus might have changed his reincarnation cycle for better or worse next time. Elsewhere, Mr. Hammond, the architect of the Golden Sphere, requests in the middle of the night to see Mrs. Thatcher, due to something going wrong with the ascension plans. Meanwhile, the Pict army is inundated with a variety of environmental calamities while marching into battle. Lord Julius continues to narrowly avoid being cut down by his bedroom assassin. The Regency elf discovers her doppelganger has completely vanished. Astoria dreams of her own ascension before being informed by her sympathetic guard that she'll soon be released. Spent of energy, the golden coins rot beneath the river. Elrod leads Punisher Roach to a whorehouse to test his moral purity. Dirty Drew McGrew argues with the bartender over it being last call. The judge gets in one last word when his twin completely disappears. Siren reflects on her nightmare. Kukor dwells on his vision of his departed Cedra. And the final move in the chess game is made. Who will be the victor? Whew. Quite a lot of things going on at once in the end here, huh? Some of the stuff is only a panel or two. As much as Flight is the beginning of something bigger, namely Mothers and Daughters, this is effectively the end of the beginning. It's a climax of this first book. So much is going on, there's actually so little to say about it all. Of all these stories within, Kukor's is the end for him, as is Bran, though both will be back in the finale. How is that possible, you say? Well, you'll have to wait and see. This issue ramped things up big time and is quite exciting as a result. It does exactly what a penultimate chapter should do, and that's ease transition into the ending smoothly and without haste or distraction. The original printing of this particular issue had a Jeff Smith Bone story reprint in the back. A lot of the issues of Cerebus at this time period had previews of independent creators in the back. A lot of famous names. There's an issue coming up where Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics had a preview, for instance. So there were a lot of creators involved. Some of them didn't work out. Some of them were still nobodies today. Some of them became big, and this was probably the biggest one as a result. So a lot of people got their first exposure to Bone through this issue. So that's interesting to note. I mean, this is before Wizard took note of the series, and definitely it blew up as a result. I have to admit, I was never a fan of Bone. It just never did anything for me. Then again, anything that Wizard Magazine was enamored with, I wasn't entirely behind, especially in the 90s. Yeah. So, next time, put your mental states in their upright and locked position as Flight comes to an end.